Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Let's Play Cities, Skylines, Trinity. That's right, this is where we recreate a Cities Skylines version of my most well-known SimCity 4 city of Trinity. Now, we are going to use a map that I myself made. And those videos are up if anyone wants to see them. And this map has been uploaded to the Steam Workshop. So if you want to use this map, just search Trinity or my name on Steam and you can use it. It's a good map, I guarantee it. You will like it. But you can see we have abundant natural resources, good amount of water, a lot of area for building. We have all sorts of connections. It's overall a great map. So here we go. Oh yes. I am quite excited about this. And by the way, we are going to build the city, like I mentioned in the map video. This is not going to be a street by street, block by block, building by building recreation of Trinity from the original, because that would be boring and tedious and also unrealistic. It's a completely different game, but I do want to go with sort of the general style and the general approach of the original Trinity, if that makes sense. You can see this as more of a spiritual successor than a true recreation, but we are going to develop it in parallel in many ways. So I am very eager to get started. Well, here we are, and we have all these things. We have fireworks. Oh yes, nothing like fireworks welcoming us to the game. Now, I want to point out that we indeed have the 25 mod enabled, not the 81, because that would just be a little excessive. But 25 tiles is a lot. If you notice, there is a big circle around here, which is beyond the borders of what we can edit, but that is a-okay. Really, only what's in the 25 counts. And you can see there are 7 highways that come in. And the way we do that is that many of them actually branch off the circle rather than connect directly to the outside. But here we go. Just look at this map. Oh man, we are taking Trinity to a whole new level. Oh, this is going to be really fun. Oh yes, as you can see, we already have trains. And I bet if we look far enough, we probably have cars, too. Let's see, the closest it gets is here. Yep, there we go. The intercity traffic is already happening. We could probably... yeah, it's too far away to click, but we can tell that it's happening. Now, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to start this city? Well, we are going to build our first roads. Now, keep in mind, I'm going with something very much in the original spirit of Trinity. And in Trinity, the original Trinity, we started out with 2 roads. One that actually began above this river, crossed this river, then crossed the main river, and went down below the mountain. And the other one more or less went along this body of water. So we are going to start off by doing that. We're going to start this road here, where it will dead end here, but we'll connect it up to there in a little bit. So, and also we have the advantage of curving roads, which the original Trinity obviously did not have, because SimCity 4 was built before curves. I don't know if you remember everything. If you remember 2003, depending on how old you are. I mean, you all should remember it. I mean, no one's that young, right? But then you can all confirm this with me. I mean, in 2003, just about everything was rectangular. Like, basketballs were rectangular, roundabouts were rectangular, dartboards were rectangular, even people were rectangular. I mean, this was just how the world was at the time, and anyone who tells you otherwise is just trying to deliberately mislead you, and you should probably not listen to a thing they say. Okay, well, we gotta avoid these columns because we don't want to, you know, irritate the ancient gods or whatever. But yes, all these will be at-grade crossings. We are going to use as many at-grade crossings as we can, and we will only replace them if and when it becomes necessary. Now, I will actually be using a bigger road for the bridge, if only because that's the only way we can get a bridge to look kinda cool. Let's make it higher. There we go. Yeah. It might not look high compared to this one, but it's high. The one thing I miss from SimCity 4 is the ability to make bridges of many different sorts. In this game, it entirely depends on the kind of road that you are using. Alright, let's make it enter like that. And now, and yes, this will be the only 4-lane piece of road we're going to have for quite a while, because I want to develop the city organically. And so now it's going to come down on this end. Just like that. It's got a nice curve to it. In the original Trinity, I actually went back and looked at some of the videos. This river right here actually has more of a slant going like this, and this road went along the river, so this is where the idea of building in the spirit of Trinity rather than recreating it exactly, where that comes in. And the further along we go in the creation of this city, the less and less we're going to be basing it off the original Trinity, and the more it's going to be gaining its own identity. That is just inevitable as the time goes on. Just like in my Sims 3 series, at first I was endlessly comparing the new characters to the characters from my original Sims 3 Let's Play, but after time, all the new characters developed their own identity in my mind, and I also realized that the highway is here. So we're going to have to get a little bit creative with this. First of all, let's just finish this road first. So it will just lazily wind along here, and then we'll go here where it will just abruptly end, because this is how this game works. Alright, now here's where we get to the part where we get a little creative. We're gonna say that there is, how exactly do I want to do this? You know, we are going to put a road here. Elevate it happily. Happy little elevated road. And it's just going to end here. And this is how cars will get down this road. It's a little inconvenient, but that's kind of the point. I don't want people to cut through in the city to get to other places. So we're just going to do this for a while. Now, we're going to be using some grids and some right angles, but not exclusively by any means. So basically this is what we're going to do. keep in mind everything I'm doing is temporary, but I don't really want to use these highways for a while. So the purpose of these highways is to deposit traffic into the city. So yeah, it's deliberately inconvenient, but it will become less so over time. Alright. And once again, let's do something like that over here. Keep in mind, this is our coal area, well, our oil area. In the original SimCity 4 map, I pretended this was my coal region, because there weren't resources in that game. There were in Cities XL, but not in SimCity 4. But don't have to pretend anymore, because it is actually my oil region now, with complete legititude. And I declare that to be a real word. I mean, if legitness is a word, then so is legitude. It's like longitude, but much more legit. Okay. So, once again, and we will only be building highways when the demand for it becomes a thing. Alright. It's time for us to start building a road along this side, because we had 2 major roads. We'll come near the farmhouses. Actually use these farmhouses as a guide. And one of our first towns will actually be near the junction, which is a lot wackier than it was in the original SimCity 4, I can promise you. But if you're getting tired of comparisons to the original SimCity map, don't worry, they will lessen in time, but for a good while they are here to stay because, well, that's the entire idea. Okay. So now let's come over here and we are going to build no, actually, change my mind. Yeah, I can live with that. It's not perfect, but it's gonna work. So you go like that, have a little curve, come over here, cross the railroad, and whoops, we'll leave it, it's fine. Okay, and it will curve and pretend to leave the city. Alright, oh yeah, we have this over here. So, well, first of all, this end here is much more straightforward. So for now, we're just going to do this. And this will be how things are begun in our city. Now let's look. I don't see any cars using this, which is good, because they shouldn't be. They should only start to use it when the game actually begins. But now I gotta do something about this over here. And, what I would like to do, well, you know what? I think, thinking about this, we actually did build another road going through here pretty early on. So I'm actually okay with building a second bridge across the river up here in the northern area. So let's do this. And that. And we're going to have this be flat and level. Well, not exactly flat, but you know. You know what? Let's actually have, you know, we'll pay homage to the straightness of SimCity 4 by having this road go straight for a good while before it curves. By the way, we can totally name roads, so if you have road name suggestions, you can give them to me. Just understand that you might have to wait a couple episodes before they show up, just because that's how, you know, sometimes it takes that long if you're making these things. And if you're watching this like years in the future, it's probably too late. I still occasionally have people suggest things from really, really old videos. It's kind of funny. Alright, but now we are going to make a cross street right here. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Alright, just still checking to make sure no cars are driving through, because they easily could if they really wanted to, but they don't. So we have, and things like this will be hooked up later. The last thing to hook up is this. Yep, there we go. We'll make one exception. We'll allow this to reach here as an avenue. Which brings us to our first and only traffic light so far. Oh my goodness. We are beginning this thing. Well, the next step in creating a truly authentic map is it's going to be time to lay out some plain streets. Of course, in SimCity 4 we had plain streets. In this game we do too. I could add dirt roads, and that would be okay. I mean, if you look at the speed limits, 30 versus 30, it's the same as compared to 40 for this, and I believe it's 50 for this. Yeah. And these 45, 50, 60, so we have some that are a little faster. But it's time to do that. But I have the strong impression that it's going to be a little bit boring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can time-lapse that for you. I'm using a new video editing software, so I'm not sure if it's possible, to be completely honest, but we're going to try it. So, are you ready? 'Cause here we go.